Welcome, Jews, germs, Gentiles, and gerbils. My name is Jake Olmstead, and this is the inaugural episode of the Gnarlcast. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get started. Nope. Wrong show. What's up, guys? And man, is it actually good to be back on a microphone talking and entertaining once again? So, like I said, my name is Jake Olmstead. I did have a podcast before this called the Jake and Jake Variety Special with my life partner, Jake Sutton. Unfortunately for me, I guess, I moved across the country. So Jake is still back home in Indiana, but I miss doing a podcast. I miss kind of creating and entertaining. So bada bing, bada boom, this is what you got. Gnarlcast, which I Googled, and I don't think anybody else has that name. So, pretty cool. Things you can expect on this podcast if you're looking for something new to listen to. This may be it. I don't know. I'm going to kind of lay out who I am, what I'm going to talk about, give you a little taste of something, and try and keep it at around the 30-minute timeline. I feel like 30 minutes is long enough to be entertaining, but not too long, so you don't feel like I'm dragging down your whole day with a dumbass podcast. So, who I am. I'm a college graduate from Ball State University. Not super proud of that. Professors and friends are cool, but Muncie sucks, and I have whatever kind of memories from Ball State. It took me 6 goddamn years to graduate. I'm just glad to be out of there and in Oregon. I moved to Oregon. There's the other part. I live in Salem, Oregon, which you all think of Salem and think Massachusetts, but think the other side of the country because that's where I'm at now. No real witch activity here. Lots of homeless people, which says a lot about their economy, which I think is okay because I get paid more here than I do back in Indiana. That's an inflation and cost of living. Cost of living is really fucking high. Anyway, I'm getting off point. Staying on point. I love sports, particularly Boston sports. Patriots, Boston Bruins, Boston Celtics. I do like baseball. I love the Cincinnati Reds. I kind of root for the Red Sox if they don't, but not really because that's kind of cheating. That's kind of bullshit. You can't really do that. I love comics. Daredevil, Batman, whatever. I have a big, long list of comics that I love. We'll probably get there. I love regular books. I love TV, like True Detective. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm going through Archer right now. I watch a lot of the ESPN 30 for 30s. Those are super entertaining. Rick and Morty, shit, The Office. I'll get to all of that as well. I also love movies, particularly movies set in Boston because I'm a predictable son of a bitch. And so Good Will Hunting, The Town, The Departed, Taxi Driver. I know it doesn't take place in Boston, but whatever. F you. Love the work of Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg. Harrison Ford's my favorite actor. I want to have sex with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck together. So that tells you a little bit about that. Recently, I've taken up exercising. And it started out as like just getting not fat. And now I'm lifting weights. So I might talk a little bit about that, but not too much because I don't know that much about it. I just like doing it. I know a little bit of the science now, but I don't know if I know enough to talk about it for a long, extended period of time, unless I had some help. But I don't intend on having another person on here for a while. I might. Who knows? Fuck it. We'll see. Not going to make any promises. So that's kind of a little rundown of me. And those are the kind of things I'm probably going to talk about on the podcast. I might read some poetry. I think I might do like a chapter book thing, like read a chapter of this book I'm writing, like every episode or every other episode, kind of do something a little fun there. I might have some life advice, some stupid life advice, some serious life advice. I just kind of want to shoot the shit because I think I have a pretty voice and I think that you want to hear it. That was vain. That was vain and arrogant. That's fine. So I want to do on this first segment I really want to talk about Ben Affleck. I mentioned him earlier, and I mentioned him a lot. So if you already follow me on social media, you know I talk about him a lot. But seriously, how fucking great is Ben Affleck? Okay, let's start like from the beginning. Even Voyage of the Mimi, which is terrible, like a school special about whales and on a boat. Ben Affleck's still dope. You've got bad movies like Jiggly. I don't even know if that's how you say it. The movie with him and Jennifer Lopez. Whatever. The movie sucked. Jersey Girl. That movie's bad. Sorry, Quinn. Daredevil, the non-director's cut, kind of a bad movie. He's in a couple other bad movies too. But let's think about all the good he's done. 1, got all those teeth veneered. Looks good. Bomb-ass cleft chin. That's pretty cool. Was with Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Gardner, and apparently cheated on Jennifer Gardner with Margot Robbie. I don't know how legit that is, but he has the power to be with beautiful, powerful women. Next thing, have you seen his pecs? The dude wears shirts that I don't understand how he fits in them and looks so goddamn good in them. But let's move to his talent. Let's move to his talent. He won an Academy Award in screenwriting, him and Matt Damon, which Matt Damon says he was essential, and some people say that he carried the movie. I don't know how much I believe that. I believe that Ben probably helped out a lot. He's also in the movie, is a great part of that movie, and deals probably my favorite scene where he has that big monologue with Will at the construction site. If you haven't watched the movie, you really, really should. It's a beautiful movie. His movie Argo won an Academy Award for Best Picture, which is so funny because his 2 movies that were ahead of that, Gone Baby Gone and The Town, are, in my opinion, much, much better movies. They are pretty fantastic, actually. I'm super impressed with them every time I watch them. And he is in The Town and Argo, so he does star in his own 2 movies. And he's really, really good in them, but he gets really great performances out of guys like Jeremy Renner and somebody else from The Town. I don't remember what their name is at this time. Not The Town, Argo. And I have Google like right there, but I'm not going to Google it. That just seems like it's too far away. Anyway, Ben Affleck also has the body type that I wish to achieve. I'm kind of a big guy, kind of a bigger, bulky guy. Got a tummy, got kind of fat in places that don't need to have fat, but when I start working towards my muscular side, I think I could probably look like Ben Affleck. I grew a beard, kind of like he has. He's got a thick one in Argo. And like there are occasions when we look similar. He's just more amazingly more handsome than I am. I think I grow a better beard, but that's just genetics. We can't help that. And I'm trying to follow his diet that I saw on like a bodybuilding website, but it's really hard. And he worked out really hard because he was in like the best shape of his life for The Town. And then playing Batman now, he's in even better shape. And it just blows my mind because I don't know what he did or how hard I have to train to look like that. But I plan on it. Because, my God, that man. Whew. Getting hot just thinking about it. I'm heterosexual, in case you all wanted to know my preference. But that man turns me on and turns me into a savage animal. Maybe that's more than you wanted to know. But that gives you a good idea of me and what I value in a person. Apparently going down on Margot Robbie and looking really, really good. He's a good person too, from what I understand. Honestly, I really haven't looked into it that much. I just watch a lot of his movies. And yeah, I think that's as much as you can get about one person. All right, enough for segment 1. I'm going to do a 3-segment thing. We're going to go into segment 2. I'm going to do these like kind of interlude breaks where like the theme song coming in is by a band called Void King. They have an EP called This Is Nothing. You have to download it. But for like the little breaks in between episodes, I think I'm going to do Meshuggah. Because like they're kind of heavy, kind of jarring. I think that'll be a cool breakup in between the smooth talking and then into whatever. And I'll probably keep using Meshuggah until I get sued by Meshuggah or their record company, which if I ever get famous enough to get sued by Meshuggah. I'll finger my... And we're back. Okay, so for section 2, I said kind of jokingly, maybe even kind of threateningly, that I might like read some poetry or do some literary stuff on this because I do want to be a writer. And I am a writer. Fuck you. I've got a writing degree. Jake, talking to myself. Sorry. So I'm gonna do some reading, but I'm gonna do some reading from an interesting piece. From my last semester. Sorry, my second to last semester in college. I had a poetry class. It's called Advanced Poetry, English 408, I believe, with a professor named Pete Davis. Which, if this makes it to him, thank you. He and a professor named Jill Chrisman and another one named Todd McKinney really kind of changed my life and the way that I write, but specifically during Pete's class, I became a different kind of poet. I never thought I was a poet, and then I got into his class and felt like I found a niche in the poetry world, just getting to know myself, I think, a little bit more. So we had to make this chapbook at the end of class, right? A chapbook is a collection of poems, like 25 or 30, not like a whole book, but like a small book, like a pamphlet, more thick than a pamphlet. I don't even know what to call it. The only thing I compare it to is like those thick rule pamphlets, but it's not that thick. I don't know. I'm really bad at explaining. Fucking writing degree, whatever. So I titled mine, "This is Poetry for Reading," and it was called A Blank Collection of Poetry and Inappropriate Musing. I think I said a shitty collection, but I blacked it out on purpose on the front because it's got like a coffee stain and a pencil writings and ash marks and an upside down cross. I thought that was pretty funny. And I titled it in different sections. So I'm going to read you some stuff from some sections. This first section is called Section 1, Poetry that I really liked, but not enough to end the chapbook with, so I put them first in the chapbook to build momentum. I'm going to see if I can find some of my favorites through here. Oh, yeah. This one's called Michael J. Fox and the Coming of the Antichrist. Have you ever felt like you were killing a magical beast when you put your knife into a fresh jar of peanut butter? I haven't, because it's just a jar of peanut butter. I have felt the shame of stepping on my cat's foot and apologizing for 26 hours while he just stares at me from the floor, plotting my imminent destruction. I felt the crushing pressure of money when I stepped into the record store and they put a copy of Squatta's Paradise by Choking Victim on this puke green colored vinyl. I felt the pressure of people not liking my singing voice or my reading voice when I read some stuff I wrote. I looked out into their eyes and saw the devil waiting to see me piss myself and collapse on the floor, but I said, "Fuck it," and laughed in his face. I probably shouldn't drink so much, because I keep seeing the devil in people's eyes, and I try to perform an exorcism on my friends in the middle of a debate. I don't even know how or where I got the crucifix. I felt the nail from the stairs scrape my hand as I fell down it completely sober and landed at his feet. Who is this? Holy shit, it's Jesus. No, it's just the mailman. I really need to not drink so much. So a lot of these are just fake, right? Like they're just stories that I've just kind of made up, but are kind of coming from reality. Like at that point in my life, I was drinking a whole lot of beer, more than I want to admit I was drinking. But that's okay. Moved on, and I grew the hell up. That wasn't a shot at anyone, maybe a little bit. I did a section about poetry for family. That one's kind of sad. Oh, this one's pretty fun. This section's called Section 3. This is poetry with heavy movie references that you will probably have to Google. I don't know how real that is. Let's see. I know I have one in here. Oh, yeah. This one's called Animal Kingdom. We had to pick one and write one, and we had to pick a poem and write about it. And we had to use the title of Animal Kingdom, because I think you want us to write about animals, but there's a Guy Pearce movie called Animal Kingdom, so I wrote about that instead. Guy Pearce is Australian. I'm sure you knew that already, but I think his accent in that movie seemed fake to me. No, not the one where he's an Australian cowboy. No, not the one where he is roaming the outback looking for his decent car that looks like an Audi but isn't an Audi. I think it's an Acura that Robert Pattinson got his blood all over. The Rover. Yes, that's what it's called. No, it's not the movie I brought up originally, but it was the same director, I think. Joel Edgerton is in it too. Is it Edgerton, like the guy from U2, or Edgerton, like some guy named Edgar? I don't know. All I do know is at least he wasn't in some shitty prosthetic wrinkly ballsack looking costume like he was in that Ridley Scott movie. Are you even listening? Of course Guy Pearce wasn't an alien. He would have been 6 or something when that came out, and now I can't stop thinking about Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, that one's probably not going to get published if I send that one in. I might just do it though, just to see what happens, because that, I don't hate that. It's funny. I actually really, really like this poem a lot. I wrote it so I could read it at a poetry reading. No, I didn't write it for that, but I did read it at a poetry reading. I did. I don't think it went over as well as my Beastie Boys poem did. My Beastie Boys poem actually made people laugh, and that was pretty cool. This one is called "No, I'm Not Dick Tracy, but sometimes I wear a trench coat with no underwear." We called each other on payphones and pretended like we still gave a shit about each other. You left the other morning, and I went out with Sean and picked up 2 hookers, an 8-mole, and some chocolate milk. We watched Joe Pesci say fuck a few times in a movie, and we got hammered on stale beer from my fridge left over from a night under the bridge with my crew. I blew my brains out with a Nerf gun all over your sister's new Build-A-Bear. I hope it's machine washable. I woke up the next morning and drove down the street in my Bel Air, hoping you would see the freshly washed, white-walled tires and think to yourself, oh my, look at the freshly washed, white-walled tires. But you didn't. Instead, you ran off with my cousin Vincent and went to Long Island thinking you two could get hitched and that I would have nothing to say. The truth is I don't. I think you're an hallucination, and I need to get away from here. Isn't that right? Harvey. Man, I thought I was real clever when I wrote that one, because I have like a My Cousin Vinny reference in there, and then like a Harvey reference from the play Harvey. I got either a Casino or Goodfellas reference. I don't know. But I will tell you, I stole the line where it says picked up 2 hookers and an 8-ball. Because Sean Penn says that on Inside the Actors Studio. It's a really, really, really fucking great episode of Inside the Actors Studio. When he's talking about entertainment and why sometimes his movies may not be as entertaining, but it's art, so it doesn't really matter. It's taking me a little longer to read these than I thought. Jesus. Let's find some short ones. I know I wrote some ones about baseball. There's some stuff about music. Oh, no, these ones are pretty good. They're just these little tiny short poems. Okay? So, this one's called Purple Rain is a Horror Movie. I think Prince writes a song backwards, but he plays them forwards so us mere mortals can understand them. Prince, you're so right. Breakfast can wait. Oh, that's so sad because Prince is dead. God. Moment of silence for Prince. There, that's what that was. All right, next is called And Tramp Stamps for All. I wonder if James Hetfield wrote lyrics on Ride the Lightning knowing someday I'd want to get his words tattooed on my ass. He probably didn't. My ass hurts. Man, these are fun. This one's called Fear of a Great Planet, which now I think is a little racist. That's not part of the title. I just think it's a little racist now. I bet Chuck D loves grapes. I like to imagine he and Flavor Flav eating grapes together on a couch while discussing politics and making pottery. It makes me smile. I don't know why I did the grape, because there's that grape soda, like, African-American stereotype. Ugh, man, need to look into that. Oh, and I wrote this one for Trent Reznor, because god damn it, do I love Trent Reznor. It's called With Teeth and You're 9 Inches. Okay, Trent, did you write a giant melodic metaphor for a blowjob? Because that's hilarious, but I don't think you did, or at least on purpose. You're smarter than a dick joke. At least I hope. The ultimate insight of the future and one of the most treasured records of our time, and I can't stop thinking of Trent Reznor's penis. Wow, guys. If I'm not the next, I don't know, some really nice friend of mine, whatever, tonight compared me to Ginsberg. Then I about shit my pants because I've never read Howl or any Ginsberg. Man, I'm a really bad poet. Do you have to be a good poet, though, in order to... Well, I mean, does it qualify you as a good informed poet if you read Ginsberg? Probably. And I probably should read Howl. I've just never gotten around to it. I think I have the movie under my bed somewhere. I might watch that later. So that was kind of some short poems. The two really... I wrote 3 poems that I'm really, really proud of and want to expand more on. Those were kind of my beginning into the class before... Pete Davis changed my life or whatever. By the way, he's got 3 books for sure, Poetry, Tina, and Hitler's Mustache. I think they're all available on Amazon or through his web store. They're all amazing books, and I really, really hope that he gets more popular because, god damn it, if he's talented, let me tell you. And he really is the best professor I think I ever had at Ball State. Anyway, enough of the nut sucking. I can't read those poems because I sent them in to get published by a magazine. They're on the desk now. It says in progress, so I'm hoping they get picked up. Cross your fingers and your nipples, people, because if I do, I'll cry. All right. On to segment 3. This has been good segment 2. Good segment 2, everybody. All right, segment 3 coming at you right after some sugar. All right, section 3. Time to wrap it up. Section 1 was pretty good. Section 2 was okay. I listened back to it. It was okay. I'll do better next time. This is just kind of a warm up. Warm up number 1 episode. Whatever. Kind of took me a while to record some of these things because I took a break, kind of listened back, drank some of my Monster Zero because I have a problem, and I didn't really know what to talk about. And then I remembered from last night. I got really inspired last night. I was going to do this last night, but I didn't want to try and find all the cables and shit, so I didn't end up doing it. But I'm going to do it now. I was listening to Robin Williams on Inside the Actors Studio talking to James Lipton. For most of it, it just seems like Robin's just practicing stand-up, right? And I mean, goddamn, is he good? He's good. He's funny. It's so fucking sad that we don't have him around anymore because goddamn is he talented. But he started talking about his cocaine addiction that he had, I think early in his career around the Mork and Mindy time, and he talked about what was a better high for him. He stopped doing cocaine and stopped doing drugs when one of his kids was born, and then he wanted to be a good father. But he also found that creation was a better drug than anything else, and that creating something, and in his version, that would be acting or making people laugh, was better than the feelings that you got from substances. And I've gone through a bit of a drastic change recently, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. Everything about my personality has really shifted from January of this year until now. This year, I moved back in with my parents after living with my 4 best friends I've ever had. I fell in love and I fell out of love. I moved across the country. I graduated college. I lost a fuck ton of weight, coming close to 55 pounds now. And I've changed my life around these things. And I felt unfulfilled. And I couldn't find out why. And I was thinking to myself that maybe what was missing. I realized I hadn't been drinking in a while. I would have a beer on the occasion with my friends, but I didn't really feel like drinking. And I used to love to drink. I mentioned it in some of my poems when I would drink beer all the time. Sorry, I burped. And I love the taste of it still. When I hang out with my neighbor friend Tracy, a couple times we've hung out, we've gotten beer together, and it's been nice. I like beer. When my dad was here visiting, I had beers with him, but I would always go the extra step, 2 or 3. I was always hesitant about getting drunk. Ever since in high school and early college years, I was a total asshole about my friends getting drunk, about people I knew getting drunk. I didn't want to associate with it or substances. I didn't tell my parents. I did Valium for a while in high school, not long, a couple months, because I heard it in a song. It wasn't anything cool. I barely liked the way that it made me feel. But after some self-exploration, I realized I don't like that feeling very much. And then I've started to come to the realization the past couple months that I fucking hate being drunk. God, I fucking hate being drunk. I hate the way it makes me feel. I hate the way it makes me act. And I hate the way it makes my friends and the people I care about act. A girl I was seeing for a while, we went to New York for her birthday and then hung out in DC and went to bars around DC. And man, I hated where I was. I didn't hate the people. And I can understand why people loved that kind of atmosphere. But I never have. The bars that I like and the way alcohol makes me feel, I like a quiet beer with my friends or someone I care about that I can either watch a movie or talk or whatever. And I have one to loosen up and because I like the taste. But I don't like getting drunk. I can remember on several occasions me getting way over the top and puking, like drinking by myself and puking, and then my friends would come and comfort me, and I was either crying. I remember one time in my apartment kitchen I was crying about a girl and the death of my grandma, like stuff that was years in the past. And then one time I got drunk and called like all of my ex-girlfriends from high school, and I told one that she was really, really hot before she got pregnant and just said all this stupid shit. And maybe that was just me and the way I handled alcohol. But I had realized after, I think probably the biggest two significant events were me moving across the country and breaking up, getting dumped by a girl I thought was the love of my life. And I didn't really know how to like create anymore. My writing was shit. My desire to make things just shrank inside me. And then like I heard Robin Williams talk. My friend said to me, my friend Caitlin Marshall, I hope she hears this too. She said to me, you know you were like born to be a writer, right? After just some text message about some made up fucking story I made up. After reading my best friend, my brother Quinn's blog, he pushed me as well to like be a better writer. Not just a better writer, but a better fucking person. And then every time I talk to my friend Jake Sutton, I feel like we talk about things that we want to do and want to make, and he still talks like we're going to make these fucking movies together. And like, we're going to make those movies together, and I'm going to create because I can't stop. Because my drug of choice it's not caffeine, it's not alcohol, it's not nicotine, it's not heroin, it's not meth, maybe meth, not off the table yet. It's making things. I don't make these things like this podcast or my poetry or my books to be famous. I don't make these things to be known. My desires in life are to make my friends laugh, make people think, and I really want to get a hardcover first edition of my book that my dad can sit on his bookshelf and him and my mom can be proud of me, knowing, like, this is who I am. Like, I'm a creator. And just listening to Robin Williams, someone I still look up to a lot, say that was okay to call my drug of choice my addiction. It made me feel so, I think, justified in my decisions, my long road, my hard road that I decided to take in doing this instead of, being a gym teacher or something, which is just as fulfilling for other people, but not for me. That would have been a cop-out for me. And I think that what it took was me moving out here by myself. It took getting my heart broken. It took leaving my friends and family. It took all these things to realize that every decision I made may not have been the best, but fuck, man, was it the right one? And I say it all the time when I post these dumbass workout pictures of either me flexing or me losing all this weight and losing my man titties. Almost there, Ben Affleck. That I want to see the people I care about push themselves just like I am. Because I know so many people who are just so great off the top of my head. I'm not even going to name names, but they know who they are. If you've questioned what your destiny is, and we've talked about it before, you, and even an audience I hope to gain from this, you are going to be better than what you are right now. There's no doubt in my mind that every single person that I've ever met can be better than who they are right now. Even if you're already the best you think you can be or the best you want to be. Like, you still have so much more to go. And god damn it, is it rewarding. Because I feel happy for the first time in a while. And I'm hanging out in Salem, Oregon by myself. And if you can't get happiness from that, well, I don't know any other better explanation than tough titties. Man, that was heavy, wasn't it? I hope you stuck around for that part, because this is kind of like a monologue. I just monologued. Holy shit. I'm glad this is recorded so that everyone can remember this forever. Be like, man, did you guys listen to Jake monologue the other night? It was sweet tits. That's what the kids are saying now. Seriously, thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the Gnarlcast. I'm going to end this with a legal thing. Any music I played, I don't own. Void King was dope and decided to let me use their music. Shout out to Tommy Miller. He was the only person I got permission from, but he's a guitar player, so whatever. Their intro and outro, their album is called This Is Nothing. Please go buy it. I'm putting this on YouTube for a while, so if you want to hear more, you can comment, you can subscribe, you can like it, whatever. Do what you want to do. My name is Jake Olmstead. This is the Gnarlcast. Hang loose. Have a good night.